Hi, good question. Um, I was wondering, is this thing on? Over the years in academic libraries, we've had access to commercially formatted magazines and newspapers. So, for example, back in the day, way before the pandemic, we had newspapers at the entrance to the library. So you could get free New York Times, USA Today, LA Times, and you could just pick it up. We've also had moments where you can get things online and have it through the commercial interface. What am I talking about with the commercial interface? Um, so for the Atlantic, it's like when you click on it, it's formatted, it's beautiful. There might be advertising, there might be suggestions of other things. You have access to reader comments and things like that. We don't always subscribe to these because they don't license them to libraries. So, for example, if you wanted to see, if you wanted to do this, then that would be like that online interface. What the library carries for most everything is that library database version, which is nowhere near as sexy or fun to read. It's more of like a research tool, but you can have access to all the major newspapers, all the major city newspapers, just by typing it in and then going under journals. And then typically it'll be at the top. Depends on the title. But this one, and you'll see the databases that it shows up in. So we have it subscribed in like several different things. And with EBSCO, and tragically, it has none of the formatting, has none of the pictures, but it's full text searchable, which is more of what the libraries get licenses for. But you can see like current issues that have just come out. So you could go back and forth and you could say, or you could, so the unwitting Trump enablers or Air Jordan is finally deflating. You could go back and see maybe those in here. It's a compelling source, and you get the full text PDF and citations and stuff like that. The added advantage of what we get is we get a backlog, so you can search back. And we have a historic one going back to the origination of this as well in a separate database. How do those things get decided? Let me show you another way to go. If you go to Research Guides, I can give you another history where you can get a newspaper like that. I'll look up New York Times. Excuse me. And then you see access for University of Utah campus. And the story in here is that this has been sponsored by the ASUU, the Associated Students of the University of Utah. So it ebbs and flows. I've never seen a time where we could get the Atlantic. We don't get it in print anymore. So the only way to get it would be to use that discounted student version, unless ASUU put up something else like New York Times. So right now, New York Times you can get for free, and you can see students, staff, and faculty can have that. But otherwise, it's just like the database version. Sorry for the long story, but it's a great question. And if you're sharing this information with other people, know that you can search through all of the newspapers at the same time, and that's the benefit, but also the cost. They're boring to read and they're formatted terribly. Thank you. Bye. Have a good weekend.